The careers with the highest demand, highest pay, and opportunities to work at home for people who are blind or visually impaired like me are in digital accessibility. That's why we created the Certified Accessibility Tester Program. That's right, Accessibility Officers, 14-week instructor-led, fully remote, online digital accessibility job training program. It's a VR program where you get trained, you get certified. Guess what? You get a job. So to find out if you qualify, go to accessibilityofficer.com.
Howdy, and welcome to episode 145 of the Eyes Free Sports Podcast. My name is Greg Lindberg. On this episode, our guest is a gentleman who is a longtime adaptive athlete, including playing beat baseball now for many years. He also has had a really interesting career and is a fellow podcaster in the blind community as well. So let's go ahead and hit the field and get swinging toward episode 145 of the Eyes Free Sports Podcast. All right, so my guest here on this episode of the podcast is Joseph Fleeks, a.k.a. Fleeks, a.k.a. Security. Joseph, welcome.
I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for having me on. This been definitely a pleasure, man. Rocking it out.
Awesome. Yeah, like I mentioned in the intro, you're a longtime beat baseball player, co-host of Blind Table Talk, which we'll definitely get into.
For sure.
I know just do a ton of advocacy work in the blind community, and honestly, I kind of look up to you and Cy and just everyone that you guys have kind of developed in your community. So congrats, just, first off here on everything you guys have done.
Hey, you know what? I really appreciate that because I look like, big salute to you because I look at a lot of things that you do around the community, the podcast and that thing. And so I look up to you as well, my guy. Like, hey, it's blessed indeed, I'm talking about. Like, I enjoy the love, the times that we have there on the podcast and the energy that you have provided. So it's been real, man. Real talk.
Awesome. That means a lot, man. So yeah, like with all my guests, I kind of like to just start from the beginning. So as far as like the Joseph Fleeks story, what's kind of like chapter one of the story, just going back to your childhood?
Cool. So I am from Houston, Texas. Born and raised, Texas made all day long. Love it. Grew up in and I do this with air quotes, a normal, childhood. I didn't have any disability or anything like that. Coming up, I wasn't born with anything. Then my mother saw that I was an energetic child. So she had me in organized sports since the age of 5. So I had been playing like football, did a little basketball, did some track. And I just took a liking to that. So I've always been a jock. I've always had my friends in the community around the neighborhood. So, I was a normal kid. I got into some couple of things with some bad decisions or whatnot. But for the most part, definitely had a good head on my shoulder. Was very active and did a lot of community work as well back then, too. So it's everything that I'm doing is kind of like my mom had me in at an early age, and I just kind of continue with it into my adulthood.
Nice, yeah. So it sounds like your mom has been a pretty big influence on you positively.
Yeah, she don't play. Beautiful lady. I love my mama. She definitely has been, a single parent or whatnot, and she made sure that I understood, the values and the kind of respect and, just kind of make sure that I was going to be, outstanding citizen, as we like to
say. Exactly. Yeah, well put.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then so I understand it was actually an accident, kind of an unexpected situation that caused you to lose your vision, right?
Yeah, man. That's that unfortunate decision making I was talking about. Got myself put in some bad crowd at the time, even though I was really rocking the football out. That was a big time in my life too, because I had just went to like the NFL combine camp with the Houston Texans out here. Was going to a couple of colleges, going to their camps, just trying to get my name known. It was like my junior year of high school, so I was just really trying to get my name known, let these scouts see me, and it was working. It was funny because at the time, the head coach of the Texans were Capers, and he actually Don Capers actually wrote to my coach, and that really it blew my mind because I didn't out of all the kids that showed up to that combine event, he recognized me just because I was the first one there, which was funny, but I had got lost on the city bus and somehow like everybody in the facility had found out that I was like walking around the facility trying to find my way to the actual section where they're having the camp at. And so I'm just this young teenager with a duffel bag. I had a towel, I had a football, I had my little Scully cap on. And I'm just like, yo, where am I supposed to go? Like, what is this? And that's like you here by yourself? And I told him like, yeah, like my coach told me that this was going on, and I came to to show out. And
Yup.
most of the athletes had been escorted or supervised by their coach, so like their coach took them there or somebody took them there. And for me, I was super dedicated, and I hopped on the city bus and came all the way from the other side of town just to go make that. And I did really good. And he ended up writing to my coach. And, around that time, I was like, okay, yeah, I know I'm about to be on my way in this football thing. And unfortunately, a few months after that, I decided to step outside with a few friends and a family member. It was my cousin at the time. And yeah, unfortunate event, man. And being at this little teenage club, it got very rowdy at the end to the point where like security guards was walking around with like AK-47, like the guns or whatnot, semi-automatics and all this good jazz. And I'm just like, to think
Mm.
about that, like these are grown men security guards, and they're supervising and watching over teenagers, have a party or whatnot, club like atmosphere, but they're walking around with big guns, man. Like, and unfortunately, that's something that they needed to do, because at that time, once that location would let out, it would kind of turn into like, a whole little kind of like a war. Like it was crazy. People was in the parking lot. They had their own handguns and shotguns and things, and so it became very rowdy. And they was really trying to, protect folks that would really wasn't trying to be about that. But unfortunately, it just became like a whole pot just mixed full of things. So that was a crazy night. It was a crazy moment. Was trying to get up out of that situation and end up walking kind of into a drive-by shooting, and I was hit with a 12 gauge shotgun, and that was like about 5 yards
Wow.
away. And yeah, from like in that instant, like football, martial arts, everything that I had did before that pretty much was just wiped away within that moment. Soon as the blast hit, like it hit me in the face, I fell to the ground. And then I just remember standing up and just looking around, and there was nothing. My cousin who was with me at the time, I remember telling him, I was like, bro, I just got hit. And it was like, bro, you lying because it missed me. Like, you ain't hit. And I'm like, bro, look at my face. I
Mm.
I could feel it. My face was dripping. I couldn't see anything. And it was crazy ordeal because I was conscious for this whole time. Normally people will lose their consciousness or
Oh yeah,
have lack of,
concussion and other
yeah.
effects. Or
And
yeah, yeah.
at my skull, well, we found this out later, but my skull was definitely fractured. It was messed up because of the shotgun blast. The power from that blast did some damage to my skull because it wasn't so far away. But I don't know what gave me. Well, I do know. It's I'm a firm believer. I believe in my faith, and so definitely Father was with me that night. That wasn't no one else had a hand on me but Father, because for me to be able to stand on my feet, be conscious the whole time with my cousin calling out the ambulance and telling them what was going on. They telling him to make me be still because I'm really kind of freaking out. I'm pacing back and forth like, bro, I just got shot. Like, bro, I just got shot. Um,
Mm.
it went through that whole ordeal, and even to the point where ambulance ended up showing up, and they found me and they telling me to lay down, and they asked me all these questions. And I remember one guy like this kind of like how big I was and kind of how much training I did. I was 16 years old, but the dude thought I was 25 because how like just big I was with muscles and things. And he was like, man, this is a grown man. And I just remember saying like, bro, I'm 16. And he was just
Right.
like,
Wow.
whoa, whoa. So it was a whole ordeal. Ended up kind of waking up in ICU. They had told me that they had to do several surgeries, especially on my eyes, to remove a lot of pellets, but they wasn't able to remove a lot of them due to how close they were outside of my brain and whatnot. So my face is still kind of full of pellets. Had to go to several aneurysm surgeries because of the skull fracture. I had to get
Mm.
a lot of those coiled up. End up having a stroke doing surgery,
Oh, dang.
which
Mm.
was crazy because when I woke up the first time, I couldn't understand why I couldn't feel anything on my left side. The doctors end up informing me about the stroke and telling me that, due to that unfortunately I was going to be paralyzed on the left side.
Mm.
I, when he said that, like it's just certain things. I don't know. I'm real stubborn. And I'm the type of person you really just can't tell me anything, especially about myself. So
Yo.
the fact that he was just like, you're going to be paralyzed, like the first thing I was in my mind was like, nah, doc. That's not gonna happen. Like he went down the whole medical spiel. Like, I was going to be paralyzed, totally blind for the rest of my life. And that it bothered me, but it didn't bother me as much as him saying like I was going to be paralyzed on the left side. So I was like more saying
Mm.
no to the being paralyzed and really didn't even care about being blind. Like it is what it is. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
so did 4 months altogether in the hospital, 2 months in ICU, 2 months in rehab. And the funny
Mm.
thing, within 2 weeks of being in that ICU, started moving my left limbs. Like I remember, like for that whole 2 weeks, I just kept just trying to make my body move, just trying to make it move, just trying to send signals from my brain to the limbs, making them cooperate. And just one of them days, it just like I was able to lift my arm and it popped up, and I was like, oh, that felt funny, but I did it. And I remember shocking the doc. He came in. I told my people, I was like, don't say anything. And when the doc stepped in, and they do their greetings or whatnot, I popped with the left hand. Was like, what's going on, doc? And then I lift my left leg. It was like, wait a minute. And I was like, yeah, doc, I told you, like, this, yeah, paralyzation was not for your boy. Being
Yup.
paralyzed
Yup.
was not, it wasn't meant for me. So, yeah, it
Mm.
was like that moment. That's when I knew, like, within that moment, I don't know, just, had a different type of strength. And so anything from there, definitely, we go through our emotions or whatnot, but it's like nothing, I felt like nothing couldn't stop me or hold me back.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you're saying this was just like a few weeks after the accident that you were actually moving those limbs.
Yeah, most definitely.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
and it was crazy
Yeah.
because I had to teach myself balance again. They had me with the walker with the tennis balls on the bottom of it, and I'm walking down the ICU hallways, just trying to get my leg back used to just holding my balance and moving forward and just, making my limbs move like I need to. So I did that. And that's when, after that, they ended up taking me over to a rehabilitation hospital out here, which is called Tier. Definitely kind of one of the popular ones. A lot of NFL players go to, dealing with a lot of spinal cord injuries and things like that. So when they told me I was going to Tier, I was just like, wow, okay, we got some going here because to go to tier
Mm.
that's in my mind and around Houston area, like tier is that's that place. Like, oh yeah, you gonna be good, but you got to go to tier. Like, unfortunately, if you have to go to tier, but you got to go to tier, yeah, you're gonna be good. And so,
Yo.
in my mind, I'm just like, okay, they sending me to tier, they for real. And so I was excited about it. Did a whole physical therapy thing. Then when I first got to tier, the my PT guy, he was a former football player and whatnot. And the first question he asked me is like, what you want to do? And I told him like, man, I really just want to be back on the grass. Like I just want to move. I gotta move. I've been sitting down too long. I just want to run. I just want to move. And so like
Sure.
the first thing he did, he took me out to like this little grass field that was kind of outside the facility. And this is before I knew like about being tethered or, any type of guidance or anything dealing with running, like a running guide or anything like that. And he was like, okay, you gonna hold on to this little string right here and we just gonna run. And I'm just like, huh? He's like, yeah, no, we're gonna run. You wanna run, you wanna move. He's like, we're just gonna run. We're gonna make this happen. Just hold on to the string and just listen to me.
Yo.
I'm just like, you know what? This ain't my norm. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm used to, they let me out in the field and I just run. They just watch me. But of course, I had sight. This time, I have no sight. So he's teaching me a way to modify this and showing me that I can continue to run and be the athlete I want to be. You just got to do it in a modified way. So that was definitely a freeing moment. I'm talking about I was like a wild horse. Like I'm just out there going, I'm running in front of me. He's like, hold on, you getting in front of me now. I'm like, oh man, haven't been this free in it's a while. Like my leg was doing good, like everything was good. So rehab for me was definitely it was competitive. Because I'm a competitive person. So I gave myself challenges. So did my PT. And we made it pretty much made it a game.
Oh, yeah. And the fact you had a physical therapist that was really willing to work with you to that extent, I feel like is pretty rare to find.
Right on, most definitely.
That's amazing. Yeah. So then in terms of your education, once you did go blind, I'm curious, did that kind of change things as far as a different school, or how did you kind of approach, kind of finishing up your schooling?
Man, education definitely was a wild journey. Unfortunately, I went to a public district out here in Houston, HISD. They're pretty cool. However, it's so big and they have so many schools that they have to take care of. And then it's the zoning and things like that. And so, which was crazy, like, I felt like the whole city of Houston knew of my situation because they had put it all over the news out here. I ended up being on one of the local radio stations out here, and so it was a big deal, and we had to go to the HISD like headquarters and sit down with like the superintendent and all the big wigs, and I remember them telling me and my family like because I was a junior in high school, pretty much kind of going into the like last little piece of it. And due to the condition of me becoming totally blind, they didn't really know what to do with me. They wanted to send me to a whole nother high school that was on the opposite side of town from where I was from.
Mm.
And they wasn't going to have they didn't really have like any teachers available at the time that was willing to kind of deal with the situation. It took for it's crazy. It took for one of my family members who used to work in kind of the administrative office. It took for her to kind of like really make some noise. She started having different what's the word I'm looking for? Like little press meetings. And during these meetings, the news would show up. So she had the local news come out. Like she started having like people coming out who could really make some noise. And she was telling the newscasts and the news people that, this is unfortunate that the school district here has a child who still wants to continue education, but due to a traumatic injury, they're trying to say that they don't know what to do with him and they don't have anything for us. And I'm 16. I'm looking around. I'm just like, man, like, am I not about to go back to school? Like, is this really it? Like, what about my friends? What about my coaches? Like, all that
Everything. Yeah.
exists. And so it took for that moment to happen. And somebody, I can't remember the gentleman. Can't remember the gentleman's name for the life of me. I've always been trying to remember, but I just remember a gentleman ended up reaching out and telling us about the Texas School for the Blind.
Hmm.
And we was like, okay, why no one else, ever spoke of this? Like no one in the HISD office spoke about the Texas School for the Blind or anything like that. So end up finding out about this school. And which was funny, because when we found out about the school had already knew about me. They had already caught wind of the story through the news and things like that. So it was like, it was almost like a meant to be type of thing. It was the feeling was funny, but ended up going to the school for the blind for a tour and seeing all the, well, not seeing, but you know how we talk, like just being around that campus, and like the kids is just being kids, and it almost felt like a college campus in a way, because it was so spread out. You had different dorms, you had different buildings assigned to different activities. You had your classroom, your main buildings, and things like that. So I was like, okay, like, yo, let me go here. And so they end up letting me go there, and I learned a lot of my blind skills at the Texas School for the Blind, and being around other students who are still some of my closest friends to this day. And so I did 2 years at this Texas School for the Blind. I finished up my high school year and then ended up doing, which is called the exit program. That was like transitioning from high school into college, and working. So I was out there from 2007 to '09 for the Texas School for the Blind, dealing with all that, just trying to get my blind skills, get my feet up under me, gain that true independence again, because I was definitely, that was my main focus. I was trying to be as independent as possible. I didn't want anything to hold my hand, hinder me back. Like I didn't want none of the pity. Even when I attended the school for the blind, I remember running into a few gentlemen who was in my dorm, and I was noticing that they wasn't using their cane. And for me, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. Not understanding the dynamics of the cane. Like, once you get in a familiar place, sometimes your cane might not be necessary because you're in this familiar area or whatnot. To me, I was just like, oh, we ain't got to use this cane. Yo, that's like, give me that. That's what I'm doing. So for the longest time,
Right.
even walking around the campus or whatnot, I used to get in big trouble for it, because he's like, Joseph, you're gonna have to use your cane. Where is your cane, matter of fact? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't even have it. And I'm
Yep.
running into things. I'm trying to use my feet to shoreline the sidewalk to keep myself on the right path, not thinking that I'm just looking, cool and independent, but not realizing like I'm looking timid. I'm looking really like out of sorts. I'm getting lost. I'm running into things, but in my mind though, like I said, I felt like I was cool. I was standing on my own 2 feet. I wasn't using no cane. Like I didn't need no cane. So I thought that was hard, but not knowing that was just the wrong thing.
For sure. Yup. Yup. So then eventually you did kind of accept that you do needed, you needed that tool, and just in terms of O&M and everything, it sounds like.
Word, it really took as here go another story. Like I've always been blessed with some wonderful people in my life. And that's why my faith and my belief is so strong because I feel he knows the right time when he needs to talk with you, and he's going to send the right messengers to kind of get you in the path that needs to be. So
Sure.
the O&M instructor there at TSB, she did not play. I man, she did not play. She was for real, and she used to tell me, she was like, "I'm definitely gonna get we're gonna get your independence back. You're gonna be able to go anywhere at any time, whenever you feel like it. You just have to trust me and believe in yourself, and we're gonna get you there." And I mean, like for the first few of my trainings, she would like drop me off in the city and like, okay, I know you know how to get back. Let's go. And like I would have to make my way back, like travel through the mall. Like she used to really be on me about this, about O&M training, but I really appreciate it because of that, like I grew my understanding of the cane and how it really helped me and helped me look more confident and whatnot. And so like definitely big salute to my O&M instructor out there like that, just being tough with that. I like it was almost as if she was a football coach for me because that's kind of what I was used to. Like my football coach, dealing with my taekwondo, judo, like everyone I've had, they've always known like Joe needs tough love. Like you just gotta be tough with him, and he's gonna handle it, and he's gonna get on his own feet, and we're gonna be rocking and grooving. So it was like her passion and me being stubborn and me really wanting that independence, like all that mixed in one helped me just like become who I am and just kind of, help me gain forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. Team effort, like you're saying, support system so important, but also too just thinking back to your, having the stroke and your determination not to let that hold you back and to continue to persist.
Yeah, nah, definitely. I definitely appreciate the strength that been blessed on me. But my mama, man, she used to she used to be in that in the IC room with me and whatnot. And like one of her words was, "Son, you're not broken." It's like it's okay. We gonna get through this. And I used to be like, "Dang, mama, like, man, I'm blind. I ain't." What about my beautiful wife? What about the league? She was like, son, you can still do all this. Well, now football, maybe not. However, you can still gonna be successful. You still gonna do this. You're still gonna find your beautiful wife. Like the way she was talking, like she said, I wasn't broken. It just
Yeah,
happened to be, a speed bump in my life. That doesn't mean that wasn't something that we couldn't drive over.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I understand you are a Houston Cougar. You did graduate from the University of Houston, and was that like immediately after high school, or what was kind of the time frame on that?
Oh man, I wish it was immediately after high school. Yeah, your boy went through many different journeys.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, like I said, so end up starting community college in Austin. ACC was going out there for a minute. Unfortunately, life started happening, and I started seeing like how life was outside of the walls of the school for the blind. Because when you're on the Texas School for the Blind campus, like everything feels like it belongs. You feel like the world understands because you're just seeing everyone come into work. They have this awareness. We have this community. We're going out. Restaurants are coming in. Like it's a whole big community there. But once you step outside of the school, that's when you really start to see like, oh, people really don't know. They don't understand, how we operate or how we're capable of doing the things that we do, or the the things that we achieve. So yeah, being out there, it was just like, wow, all right. So boys ask me a question like, how you do this? How you able to do this? Why you don't have nobody with you? And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, what happened to the awareness,
Right.
And so yeah, I became mad,
Mm.
unfortunately. And so the people around ACC that I was hanging out with, I distanced myself from, because I did feel like if everyone outside wasn't understanding, I felt like people around me was being fake about it, was giving me pity, so I didn't want it. So I shied away, which means I kind of stopped going to classes. I started doing other things. I really got into music tough, and decided I wanted to become like this blind rapper or whatnot, and just kind of spitting just my life story, and the rage and the anger. So my mindset was on a different focus, unfortunately, but that was short lived. Yeah, I mean, this was able to perform a few out there in Austin, and had some fun experience at time, but overall, it just wasn't the path for me to walk. And that's when I looked around Austin, and I was like, you know what? I done pretty much done dropped out of school out here, and I done graduated from the school from the blind. By this time, I'm 3 years living in Austin, and nothing really wasn't going on. And so it's like, you know what? It's time for me to move back to my home city, and like really get my feet up under me, and like do this the right way. So come 2011, around that time, I transitioned back to Houston from Austin, and I got involved with, at the time was called DARS, but now they're TWC. But DARS is our rehabilitation agency and services here in the state of Texas. They provide you with the different resources to continue the schooling, or work, whatever occupation that you have. So I told them I want to go to college. That's when I found out that the state of Texas actually you know, provided us waivers to attend public college. And I was just like, okay, never knew nothing about that. So had the opportunity to go ahead and just, get this going. So I actually went to University of Houston downtown, which is the Gators, but it's has a connecting network with U of H, because a lot of the professors who taught at U of H were also teaching at University of Houston downtown, due to the fact that it wasn't too far from each other. But and the classes at U of H were huge. I'm talking about, you're gonna have up to like 100 to 200, students in your class. Where at
Yo,
UHD, the most I've had in one of my classes were up to about 70. So it was,
gotcha.
it was a smaller school, but you received pretty much the same type of teaching that you would receive over at U of H. So I ended up staying at UHD, and continuing out there, because I just like the smallness of it, and it was just more personal. And so I got my psychology bachelor's degree from University of Houston downtown.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I'm curious what kind of led you to that degree, that area of study.
It's funny, because once again, it has to do with the blindness. This is where the whole security started coming around. Because like a few years before then, I was with a few friends of mine, doing the whole music thing. And I mean, we all have our blindness. I'm totally blind. A couple of my friends were low vision. And so, but to me, I'm the one who had kind of been through the most and was more recent with the site. So I'm just like, yo, I'm protecting all of us. Like, I'm gonna talk for us. I'm jumping out there. Like, I'm security, baby. Like, if anything need to go, like security is here. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of how the name really kind of took a place. But it became like security for everything. So I'm visiting DARS and I'm talking with the case manager and I'm letting them know like the things I want to do. Like this is my mindset, this is the journey, this is the path I want to go. And I felt like they did not care about that. Either they were limited or they just didn't have any passion for where I wanted to take my dreams. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, that ain't cool. You a whole case manager. I felt like you were here to be like the chain link to help us connect to the other links so we can, make a stronger chain and keep this going. And so
Exactly.
seeing that lack of passion and that, that lack of, I was just like, I'm going to like what do I have to do to get your job? And and I asked my case manager that, and he was just like, "Well, you need to have a degree in psychology or something like that, or a degree in social work, or something like that, so you can you can apply for here and have a master's degree or what, and go to get your master's in social work and case management." And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm about to go do because I'm not about to let another individual who just happens to become, blind later on in their life and then just get put out here and not know anything. People are telling them, no, you can't do this because you're blind. And we're like, you know what? We're not about to put dreams down. Like I mean, I understand there's such thing as being realistic. However, though, like the dreams are definitely possible, and there's no reason for us to shut them down. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get on that side of the line to protect my peoples because I'm like, it's no way we shouldn't have nobody like we should have somebody in the DARS community or TWC community that understands, that can relate, that knows the fight that we have to go through and is willing to fight with us. And once again, I was like, you know what? Looks like security gonna have to step up in here and do what he got to do. So that's when I went to University of Houston downtown to go receive that psychology. So I can my goal was to go work for DARS and be the protector from the inside and help people find their way like that.
Right, right. Once again, kind of paving your own path and, doing what you thought was best for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Before we get into sports here, definitely want to ask you about your career. I know you've done work in some different areas, right?
Yeah, my work paths have definitely jump from different things. When I first started out in Austin, I was actually working for a semi-professional ice hockey team.
Hmm.
It was funny because like the school got me involved with that due to my dream of wanting to be around sports. Like and before I really started like calling myself to the security and just being the backbone and trying to step up for the community, my dream was I always wanted to be around sports. Like I said, I had been in sports since I was 5 years old. So like that's just what I knew. That's what I loved. And either I was gonna be, training or a sports agent, like it was gonna be something with sports. And so one of the in the exit program, one of the instructors that was like, well, we have a semi-professional ice hockey team. Let's see if we can get him involved with them. And I'm thinking like, oh snap! Like I'm about to be in the locker rooms. Like I'm about to see like.
Yo.
So they end up making me a marketing promoter, and I was in sales. And all I did was called companies, let them know about the ice hockey team, and pretty much created a line of communication and network. Like, if you provide the ice hockey team with this many coupons, then we can provide your customers with this type of discount on the tickets or whatnot. So it was cool, but I kind of wanted to be more. But so like doing that, just seeing those different jobs, and I was like, okay, I want to do something else. End up coming back home to Houston and seeing that there really wasn't any jobs that were, that fit the profile or that was out here and that was accessible for us to do. So I ended up being in like Goodwill, and end up just doing a lot of volunteer work, and to the point where I ended up going even like back to school for trade and getting my certification in massage therapy, because that was another way of me getting close with the athletes. And within that journey, that's when I'm like, I've been volunteering, I've been out here doing just different work. And that's when I found other organizations to be a part of and to like offer my skills and my passion and, just having that dream for what I like to say, the future blind. I'd like to say protecting the future blind, so having that dream for them and that passion for them. So I end up getting into nonprofit work. Working right now, I'm the program director for Blind Professionals Network, and it's been an incredible journey. It's been such a wonderful thing just to be around like-minded individuals who, once again, are not afraid to kind of push against the social norm and create this community and this safe zone to let our community know, our people know, like, hey, we're blind, we're professional, we're out here. There's no reason why we can't network. There's no reason why we can't, provide other resources and get to the path of where we really want to be, and and show that we're capable mentally and capable physically, and being out here.
Absolutely, yeah. And I am part of the BPN Facebook group, and have definitely seen it out there quite a bit lately. So I know you guys are doing just amazing work with that.
No, man, appreciate it for sure. Definitely, it's definitely growing, and it's a good thing. I could actually say this now. Like BPN now, just received this 501c, so it's like
Nice.
I've been here since it was registered with the state of Texas, and now that it's 501c is like, man, it's growing, getting bigger, and it's been a beautiful journey for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's, I know, just employment in general. I mean, I've been through a zillion interviews in my life and career, and trying to advocate for others in terms of employment, just kind of in general. That topic is
Oh,
pretty near and dear to me too.
man, I'm
So
telling you, I done been to it all, to where I was in my stubborn phase, and I'm like, you know what? I used to do landscaping work when I was a teenager. It ain't nothing for me to get back out there and just kind of rake up some leaves or whatnot. So I remember I went and applied for a landscaping company. That was the funniest interview because the guy was just like, you know so much about yards, but like, what am I supposed to do? Like my fault, y'all. I did the little accent because he was a Hispanic cat, of course, being out here in Texas. But he was just mind blown. He was just like, I don't know what to do. And I was just like, man, look here. All you got to do is just give me the lawnmower. Like, let me get the lawnmower and I'm gonna show you. And it was funny. Like he let me try it out, but they just really wasn't fully comfortable with it, with the whole idea. Like, but I still felt like I walked away with like his mindset kind of opened up a little bit more. Like, okay, like, man, more people can do this. I tried to go apply for like restaurants, but they always wanted me just to be a meal prep, and I'm like, nah, I wanna be more than a meal prep. Like, I
right,
just,
something more. Yep.
yeah, like even with Goodwill, that was like, you can go around and do hangers. I'm like, I don't want to do hangers. Like, I want to I want to do something more. So it's like I done apply for many different places. I done apply for warehouses. Before I really just found like where where my service is really calling me to be at.
Right, right, exactly. So yeah, then transitioning to sports. So just going back to your story, I know you mentioned the physical therapist that kind of maybe introduced you to like tandem running, tethered running with a partner, with a sighted guide. I'm curious also at the Texas School for the Blind. Did you play any sports there as well?
Actually, I did. I was one of their top athletes in my mind. I like to think because so the School for the Blind, they do their different sports event. They have sports extravaganza, and then they have
Yo,
where the different schools will meet up at like one school. Like one time we went out to Jackson, Mississippi, to the Mississippi School for the Blind, and had a whole track event and goal ball event there. So I did a few sports during my time for the School for the Blind, and actually was really good at it. Like I said, I had been running track before when I had my sight, so I'm a big dude, but I can definitely move. So I kept my speed, and I actually ended up being one of the fastest totally blind guys at the time doing our events. Where
hmm,
everyone else ran the 100. For the totally blind guys, we ran a 60. And so like my time, I blew everybody out the water. Like I had boys time
yo,
beat by a whole 3 seconds. Like it was that
wow.
type of jazz. And people was like, man, I did not think that you could move like that. And I was like, I kept telling people like, man, I've been in sports, man. I was a quarterback. Like, don't let the size fool you, baby. Like my feet work is definitely phenomenal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yo,
But
yo.
but that's how I fell in love with it though. Ended up finding like goal ball, the track and field, and actually ended up finding like b-ball as well. I wish I would have kind of stayed in it at the when I first found out about it. But like I said, my emotions at the time, seeing how the community really was, it had bothered me. So I was like, I was just too angry to kind of deal with a lot of those things at the time.
Right, right. Definitely makes sense. So then, yeah, in terms of beat baseball, just talk to me about kind of your introduction to that sport. And I know you've played now for quite a while.
Yeah, it was funny because like I was saying, I was already in Austin 2007, 2008, around that time. And if anyone know, like around that time, the Blackhawks were that's when they was like, you know, real big, I mean, they're popular still, but doing that little run, they was like one of them guys. That was one of them teams, and so I had a buddy of
Sure,
mine, was Brandon Chesser, because he was one of the first individuals I met in Austin, Texas, and he kind of he saw your boy passion. Like we always talked about sports and all that good jazz and whatnot. And he was just like, yo, I want you to come to practice with me. And I'm just like, go to practice, what? And so he took me to a Black Hawk practice. And it was funny because this is when I first met like Axel and Zach, and this is kind of their first time being around the sports and the team. And so we was all out there practicing. It was cool. Kevin was the pitcher at the time, and I was like, it was fun, like hitting off of Kevin. I was at the time I was batting incorrectly. So I'm like my left hand was at the bottom and my right hand was at top, but I'm still swinging with a right-handed swing. And I'm pressing the ball, and they just like, man, like we just got to fix your unorthodox hand position on the bat, but like you are going to be something. But unfortunately, I didn't stay with it. I ended up leaving, stopped going to practice. Like I said, just the mindset, and I wish I would have stayed with it because that would have been incredible just to be a rookie with Zach and Axel and kind of having like that little three-piece of a squad and having the vest. Like I would have loved to see how that would have turned out. Then I had
oh yeah,
another
yo,
opportunity after that where I met Lupe Perez, and at the time he was playing for the West Coast Dogs. And he would tell me like, "Hey man, like I heard about your athletic skills and whatnot. And, they wanted me to come try out for them, but I wasn't believing the hype. I wasn't like what a team all the way in the West Coast. Like, nah, that's unbelievable. And now I know what I know now. I'm like, man, I wish I would have took that opportunity and being able to got a chance to play with the West Coast Dogs, but unfortunately, I just this wasn't the time for me, and so I didn't come back to beat baseball until I moved back to Houston. And
Gotcha.
that's when, like, once I moved back to Houston, like my mindset at that time was like, you know what? I'm not about to let myself miss out on any more opportunities or let my emotions cause me to, make myself become distant from, anything that I'm doing. So got to Houston, end up connecting with the Dars people, and that's when they were telling me about the b-ball team in Houston. And I was like, okay, wow, I didn't know Houston had one. And so that's when I found out about Bayou City Heat. And at that time, it was Coach Boudreaux, um, Funzy, and so it was like, all right, I showed up to practice. They told me where to go. I showed up, and it was pretty much like from there she wrote. Like I pretty much connected with the guys. Went through that whole ordeal. So I got into my very first World Series tournament was 2012 in Ames, Iowa.
Hmm. Wow. Yup.
And I've
Yup.
been rocking since, man. Been rocking since. I wish I would have started back in '07. Like, who would have known? Like, even what I've been able to achieve, with starting in 2012, like it probably would have been even further then. So it's like I had the opportunities to be in the game earlier at a younger age. But I mean, hey, I came in at the age of 23, and I think I made a decent name for myself in this league.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've definitely seen your name on some of the top lists, kind of floating out there on social media and definitely talk to me about Fonzie as well. A longtime beat baseball pitcher. I know he's developed, equipment for the league.
Oh
Just
yeah.
a super sharp guy, right?
Man, that is my guy, man. Like, like there's just certain people you run into, in your lifetime, and just the energy, the mindset, like it just matches. And Fonzie is a fighter. He's a warrior. He has like one of the biggest hearts, man. Like I see it when he talk with like other players around the league. Like his love for the game, his love for like, just people being the athletes that they are, like is remarkable. So the connection with Fonzie was just hot straight off the jump. And it ain't changed since, no matter where I go, no matter what team I play for. Like I'm have nothing but love for that man. And so at that time, Fonzie was just like, "Hey, we gonna rock this out. I want you to give me this. I want you to swing like this." And people know it as the golf swing or the uppercut swing, and so that's what he wanted. And that man used to be able to just float that ball in there, boy. We just, I don't know, just connect off that bat, and he used to go. And he's just like, all right, let's get with it. And Fonzie just be at the mound, just with his energy, doing his, little shuffle feet and whatnot. So it's just all beautiful. And then to see like, we go through this kind of ball equipment thing, and people kind of looking around like, man, we don't know what we're going to do about balls, or where it's going to come from. And just to see him take his time out, and like I remember when he came to practice, he was like, I'm gonna make a ball. And it was like, what? It's like, I'm gonna make a ball, man. Like it really ain't hard, but like we something got to be done. Like I'm gonna make a ball, and he's like, I'm just need y'all help. I'm gonna bring a ball to practice. I want y'all to tell me how it sounds, and we're gonna go from there. We're like, all right, fine, we got your back no matter what. And a few months, next thing you know, Fonzie comes to practice with a ball. And we like, yo. And so he like pulls the plug and we hear this tone. It's like, oh snap, this man done did it. And it was funny, like we're practicing kind of with like a half ball because he was still trying to mess with the circuit and whatnot. So we called it like a hood ball. So it was like a ball that got half cushioned, half taped up, and but hey, we we out there practicing with it. And so
Yo,
it's amazing to watch how far it has come. Because I mean the tone, the shape of the ball is different. Fonzie has taken his time to really develop that circuit. And, I mean, he has really done like this just a phenomenal job of just stepping in and just helping us, have another avenue on to continue this game because, without equipment, we can't play. So,
exactly.
so the fact that he taking that time out and he doing this by himself. Like make
Wow.
making
Wow.
making balls for multiple teams. Everybody just ordering these balls, and it's just like, bro, this man has a whole family, full time job, and he's still taking the time out to create these balls and get these bad boys created for us to be able to play this game that he loves the most as well. So it's just like for me, I thought that was just truly remarkable, man. Beautiful, and big salute for Fonz for doing that, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone out there who's, fully sighted and just does so much for the blind community or a sport or organization, I just really take my hat off to them.
Real talk, all of them. I mean, even the pitchers, the spotters, the arms. Like we couldn't have this game
Absolutely.
without our volunteers, man. And other like I love them all. Like they all have their different levels to what they bring to the game, and everyone like I get a different type of excitement for. However, I man, like big salute to all of them because like you said, we couldn't have this game, man. We couldn't have this
No
game,
doubt.
man. We need them.
Yup. Yup. Well said. So, any particular tournaments, World Series over the years, now that you've been playing, for say 13 years, that
Yeah.
stand out to you?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. So many memories. Like even before we even made it to a actual championship World Series game, we end up having a 6 hour game with Taiwan home run. I remember this.
Mm.
This was in New York, right, Rochester, New York. Ah, what a crazy game. This like we needed this game to go over into Friday to continue on to go into the championship game. And like we two offensive high flying team. Unfortunately, the knock on, Bayou City Heat, there's just the defense wasn't as strong as our offense. Like Bayou City Heat had always been known as being an offensive juggernaut, but unfortunately, defense kind of lacked a little bit, and that's what really hurt us in that game. But to step in this game, right, and we go up to bat, we put up seven, like we put up seven versus Taiwan, like okay, yeah, we doing something. These boys go up the bat, put up 21. We like, what is what is going on
Wow.
here? Like 21, like, and out of that 21, one of them was a home run. And that was like my first home run that I witnessed like in the game. And I'm just like, we hearing the ball and this bad boy just floating. I'm like, oh my God, that ball is gone. Like it never, never came down until they hit the home run line. So we just like, oh man. So in this game down 21-7, and this is where like I talk about the passion, the energy that Funzy had, man. Like the don't quit. Like, Fonzie, we did our little huddle and whatnot. And Fonzie was just like, bro, I'm not out this game. And we looking
Mm.
around like, all right, like for your pitcher to say just, bro, I'm not out this game. And so it's like, all right, like lace them up, baby. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like you have you have somebody on the mountain like that, it's just like he has no fear. He don't care what you done put up. Like until the umpire said game, the fight is on. And that's what it was. So we end up coming back. We put up 27, which was crazy. Which was crazy. So,
Wow.
and then we end up having a rain delay. So it ended up being like 27-21. Then a rain delay come. Then we go back into the game. They go back up to bat. They end up putting it up to 30. We go back to bat. We end up putting it up to like 35. Then they go back to bat. So that game ended up being like 42-38. Craziest game ever.
Wow.
Craziest game.
Insane.
I've never, to this day, I have not seen no other team put up that many points or play as long as we played. It was incredible. Like I call that like my little mini championship game before I even was introduced to our championship game then, because that was to be a part of that. I'm talking about I was dog tired. My legs weren't working no more, bro. I was, I was like,
Right.
man, these boys won't quit. Like, all right, we won't quit either. Like, it's what it was, man. It was definitely something fun to be a part of. But that was one of my that was one of my good memories. Then I remember like another one. One of my brother Ja'Cory Wiley. It was funny because he came to the Bayou City Heat a year before I did. So his first year was 2011. I'm 2012, and we pretty much have been rocking ever since. But I remember this was kind of like the Jets. This was the Jets' introduction into the league because
Hmm.
this is kind of when they split apart from the Black House and became the Jets, and so
Yep.
we ended up facing them in the World Series, and we had Ja'Cory has always been known for speed, lightning fast. That boy Flash, like to me in my mind, I'm sorry, like I done heard this boy footsteps. He's college trained. Like I don't really feel there's no one faster in the league. Like I'm sorry. Like I know what my boy can do. So he's like Mr. Flash. Like and so they end up putting him at short right, like to play defense. And it was the funniest thing because Ja'Cory has a little bit of partial sight, and so he ended up scooping the ball and the Jets did not believe that he could play defense like that. And so they end up patching him. And we just
Hmm.
like, what? Like, hold on, man. Come on. Like, all right. So they patched my boy. And it was the most amazing thing because like great pitchers, you understand that the greats, they're able to kind of move the ball around the field. And so Kevin, he saw that that they had just passed Ja'Cory. So what does he do? He goes at Ja'Cory, and this is funny. I felt like this was kind of one of DB, great commentator. I like I have a kind of a love hate thing for DB, but I
Sure.
really like the commentating and whatnot and the things he provide. But so DB, this is kind of I felt like DB last game when he played for the Jets, and so he's up the bat and he smokes her like a one line rope. And the spotter makes the call, and we just hear Ja'Cory just like foot just he goes to it, stuffs the ball like and then like DB not even halfway down the baseline. Like you hit a ball just punch off Ja'Cory chest, and he's just like ball. And that moment was the like craziest moment. I'm talking about like the whole Bayou City Heat sideline. Like at the time we had the vet Big Bam, Seth Clark, we had Daryl, we got Blake, we got all these Blakes, we got all these vets, we got John, and we all just in roar, just like barking, just sounding like bears. Like it was like I felt like even everyone around us, like the energy was so strong that the fans were like they enjoyed the play. And
Hmm.
it's like it wasn't nothing they could do about it. Like my boy made a defensive play before then. You patched him because you didn't believe in the skills. You went back at him and he made the play, which that game that turned out to be like 17-4. Like we handled them just due to the energy. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that momentum just gets swiped from you, and that's what we did. So that was like just that whole moment, just the being connected like that. Like everybody was just, locked in and in tune. So that was another incredible moment. And then we end up going to the championship to face the good old Dynasty Thunder. as, like, as I like to
Yup.
call them at that
Yup.
time. And man, I don't know, 2018, like, you just get on the field and just everything working. Like everything was working. Like for me, defense, offense, all of us just coming together, everything was working that year. And I mean, we also had good help from that field that year as well, because Wisconsin, that was definitely some thick grass. I would we gotta admit that. So all the above had happened. Everything just fit into place. And we end up facing the Thunder. And I remember like everybody kept saying, like, nobody beats the Thunder in the championship. Nobody. Like, we just like, bro, these boys lace up cleats just like we do. Like they can be beat. And it was like that was a crazy game where it started off because they end up patching like majority of the Thunder players, like the ones who started, which I thought was just that whole patching era, like I thought was nuts, right? I definitely thought it was crazy. And so the fact that we got to patch boys before the game, and then the Thunder end up patching Blake, and it was a crazy ordeal. So like the tension, the energy, it was up. It was definitely up. And we came out in that game like ready. And I just knew it. I just knew it was about to take them boys. We ended up winning the first game, but right before that game was over with, me and another player just had a freaky collision. It was nasty.
Mm.
And I'm a big dude. And so my teammate, he's an even bigger dude. And so my whole like little right leg kind of got trapped under his collarbone type of area because the way he dove, I was still on my feet, and then my ankle popped, and so like just laying on the sideline for that second game and just watching my boys having to fight and just not being able to fight, like
Man.
being so close to a championship, just like it was right there, it was right there. And
Yo.
yeah, but so that was like that's been my memories. Even having some incredible memories playing for the Indianapolis Edge. Like developing more. Like we had a crazy scrimmage where we faced the Thunder, and like it ended up turning to be like a high flying game. We was just batting left and right, just both teams going back and forth, and these are things like boys will never hear about because they like scrimmage games or whatnot. But just like being a part of that and just it turned out it felt like a championship game. We got so competitive doing that scrimmage, like it was some real stuff. So like just having different memories like that. Like I have so much family in this b-ball league now, just from going to different teams, playing for the Bayou City Heat. I played for the Blackhawks in 2019 when we had the little COVID ordeal and they had to cancel our World Series or whatnot. And I tried it out with them and then went going to the Edge. So it's like I have nothing but love, man.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. And yeah, just as far as the 2025 season, anything you want to mention? I know this episode's probably going to be dropping during the World Series, so just kind of keep that in mind.
Look out for the big dog, baby. Yeah, hey, your boy coming, because I know this is this is a different year with my brother Kyle not being able to, pitch for the Edge, who was the normal pitcher, but now we brought our good old Jeremy, who I love that man too, man. His energy is raw, so I'm looking forward to seeing the fight and what we about to bring to the field because boys haven't seen the whole in the Edge together. So yeah.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
sir. Yes,
Yup.
sir.
And yeah, best of luck to you guys this year.
For
It's going to be
sure.
another exciting series to follow for sure.
For sure, for sure. Best of luck to the squad as well. You know what I'm saying? I like seeing your boys. Y'all still be doing your thing out there, man. So I love it, man. I love to see the fight and everybody just participating and coming through, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yup. Cool. And then before we wrap up here, definitely wanted to touch on Blind Table Talk. I'm a huge fan of the podcast that you and Saida do. So just curious about kind of the inspiration first here behind starting that.
Man, that's another story too. So like big salute to Saida, like, because I have to be for real, as this was her doing. She wanted to be a part of, well, not a part, but she wanted to do something similar to, at the time it was Red Table Talk. And so her and a couple of her girlfriends, they were doing something similar to that on the club, on this platform called Clubhouse. And it was cool. It was, it was like some good shows or whatnot, but she kept saying like, man, like we can do some so much more with this, like so much more. Like people should really be hearing, the topics that we talk about and how we interact and, just our mindset and how we do the things. And, unfortunately you start off with one team and, sometimes it doesn't always work out with the original team. Some people have other obligations or things like that. So that kind of what took place with that. And I remember approaching her because at the time we were together, and so like I remember telling her like, hey, instead of having this on Clubhouse, we need to make this a podcast. And
Right.
she looked at me and she was just like, you know what, you are so right. Like I'll make it a podcast if you come on. And I was just like, all right, you know what? Let's do it. So like we decided to go ahead and take the show off of the clubhouse room because we was doing that like every Friday night, having a little, Friday night rooms and decided to take it into the podcast world where we were recording and having the episodes released by Friday night, early Saturday morning. And we started by having different people come through. We didn't have no theme song. Like we was just like trying to figure it out. We, as we go. And so just like listen to other podcasts and things like that, and then seeing the love that we started to receive. Like as we grew more, we ended up running into a lovely individual. Her name is a.k.a. That's the one who actually she sings on the theme song. She wrote that for us. Like
Oh
just
yeah, I was going to ask who did that. Yeah.
yeah, just off of, understanding the passion, understanding the mindset and seeing what we really was about. She was like, I really want to just do this for you guys. And man, big
Hmm.
salute to Alec K, because still to this day, people are telling me like that song, it just fits what we doing and it's really nice. Like she wrote that very well and
Oh
recorded
yeah,
and all of
cannot get
that.
it out of my head,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, it's very catchy, and I'm like, man, that
Yeah.
was on the money. So her, just people like that. She, allocate doing that for us. And then like in our mind, like we like to keep everything in our blind community. So like our website was created and made accessible by another blind individual. Our editor,
Hmm.
he's low vision, but he's vision impaired as well. So like our whole team, is us, and that's why we have our logan as we do, like, nothing without us for us. Like that's what that means. Like we do this for us and we must include ourselves. And so like that's all that start jumping off. Like then we start receiving people wanting to come through and be, on the show and have an interview because the way we were promoting people and allowing them to have that safe zone to come through and promote what they have going on. Because our mindset is we're not here to take over anything. We're here to only open up the tree and let it grow more. So we're trying to bridge the gaps, build more awareness, really have this be a networking community because there's so many of us out here, you know, that's all doing this. And so we never want to feel like we were competing with anyone or anything like that. Like it's all love at the end of the day. Like everybody can eat at the table. You know what I mean? So hey,
For
that's
sure.
we've been rocking. We done went through the house fire, me and Saida
That's right.
separation, like all the above, and still got this going. Rocking to wave. Now we have more that we added to the podcast where like we have the sassy seats, which is Saida, Miss Sassy. She does her own thing with the lovely women that she interview, and then you have myself, you know, the security. We have the security booth where I sit down with a lot of the gentlemen from the community, and we just kind of, you know, talk about the testimonies, but just in a deeper and much raw way. You know what I mean? And it's just been a beautiful blessing, a beautiful journey. Like we've had you come to the table and, you know, I had a couple of events with us and sit down and chop it up with the opinion and the panels. And, you know, it's just like
Yo,
the different people that we've had come through. It's just been so, so beautiful, man.
that's amazing. Yeah, I feel like what you guys are doing is so unique. I mean, there's so many podcasts out there, but you guys have really created this whole community, you know, just with the Facebook groups. And I know you've given even like cash prizes. I won like $25 just
Yeah.
for posting. I'm like, wow, I don't know where they get their money, but that's so awesome. They're actually giving stuff away. So,
Yes, you know, fortunately, like right now, that's just the passion and the beauty that we have, and we just want people to you know be able to receive the blessings that we receive. So it's like, hey, let's why not, you know, give them a little piece of token, and you know that comes that comes from us. Like we're looking for sponsors and we're working on that. Like it's been a beautiful
sure.
journey and whatnot, but everything that we do, it still comes from Saeed and I, and you know that's
Wow.
we still gonna continue to do so, like because that's we just have the love for the community, and I believe in our community like as such. So it's like, hey, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just got to say, you guys are super funny, entertaining, engaging, just to listen to, you know, in addition to all the interviews out there, just hearing you guys banter back and forth. This is one of my favorite parts, too.
Right on, right on. Yeah, that's one thing. Like when you have a host who really matches well with your energy, and like Sight, that's my dog. Like to this day, that is my dog. And like her mindset, her passion, the love that she has, you know, the things that she talk about, like her energy, just it matches well with what I have going on. And you know, and people, you know, I feel like people really see that and feel that, and they, you know, they see the genuineness, and then they come and be a part of it, and it's like, wow, like these are real genuine people that's hey that just want to spread love, man, and just show y'all what it is.
Exactly. Yo. And for those who might not have heard the podcast, where can people find you guys out there?
For sure. Well, we're on all platforms. You can definitely check us out on your Apple Podcast, Spotify. Also, you can hit us up on YouTube, which is Blind Table Talk. We also have our website as well, where you can go check us out on our website and then be able to connect to a lot of our episodes too. And that is blindtabletalk.com. You know, hey, we got it rolling. It definitely should check it out and you know, show some love.
Absolutely. Yup. And as always, I'll include a link to that in the show notes for this episode, just so people can easily find that as well.
For sure, for sure.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been a ton of fun here. Fleeks, Joseph Fleeks, Joe Fleeks, security, a lot of cool nicknames you got going on.
Hey,
Really, really appreciate the time, man. I know we've gone for over an hour here, so thanks so much for being so generous with your time, and just kudos to you on everything on the beatball field with your podcast, your work, everything you're doing is just amazing.
likewise to you, my boy. Hey, big salute, baby. I really appreciate you for the opportunity. You already know it's love all day long, whenever we connect and meet up, like, you know, and keep doing your thing, man. Like I'm out here watching as well. I'm loving what you're achieving. I'm loving, you know, the passion and the leadership that you're providing out here. And big salute on that field, my guy. You already know, baby. Let's keep this rolling.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it, as always.
Yes, sir.
To hear more episodes of the Eyes Free Sports podcast and to subscribe, search for Eyes Free Sports on your favorite podcast platform or visit eyesfreesports.com. Be sure to follow the Eyes Free Sports podcast at facebook.com/eyesfreesports and on Twitter at eyesfreesports.